Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you today? Okay, man, where do you tackle all this that's going on out there? First, I gotta say to that prosecutor down in Atlanta, Georgia, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. So does some of the other folks up here. Yeah, our county had a couple open slots for deputies, and we had a couple really great guys with super records, spotless. A lot of commendations, good cops. Thank you, Atlanta. Keep up the good work down there. One other is going down to the county next to us. So you lost three of them for sure. One guy told the newspaper, yeah, he's already talked with the state police and they've got some openings, so he's going to put the word out down there that great state of Tennessee's got some openings for state troopers and plenty of jobs. Come check it out. So, thank you. We could always use good police officers. Yeah, the thing is, most of our cops, I mean, they're good folks, okay? For the most part. And getting to some of the big cities, you might have some problems, but for the most part. And I think a lot of that has to do with the people that they're policing's attitudes toward them. Yeah, seriously. Because these old boys all grew up in the same kind of environments, and you get out here in the country areas, and these guys are just as good as gold. They'll come back and help get your car going or whatever they got to do to help you. And I have never, me and my ex-wife was sitting alongside the road because we had flown in from Las Vegas and rented a car and went down and looked at a property in Alabama, and then came back up and was headed over into Tennessee. And we'd gotten into Tennessee, and finally it was like, I gotta get out of this car and stretch my legs a little bit. So we pulled off the side of the road, and it was late. It was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. And this county officer drove by, flipped on his lights, spun around or whatever. Here we go. They got the insurance and all that on his rental car. And no, he just came up and asked what we was doing. Told him just stretching my legs there a little bit. And told him what we'd driven. And just good as gold. I mean, couldn't be, politer or anything else. And he even said, there's a little turnaround up here. He says about less than an eighth of a mile. He said, I'm going to go up there and park. He said, why you guys stretch your legs just to make sure nobody stops here and gives you a problem. Appreciate it, because it was pretty isolated, a little 2-lane road out in the middle of the sticks. And I guess it wasn't 20 minutes later, old boy passed by going the opposite direction there in a pickup truck. Well, you see his brake lights come on, and I'm thinking, okay, is this going to be a problem? And he turns around, comes back, and the same thing. And I help you out, this guy's broke down, don't know. Well, by that time, this county cop's rolling down there to see what he's up to. And I stood there and had a good conversation. It was rather nice. So, different breed of cops, okay? So we don't want our cops defunded. If anything, we'd like to see them get raises, okay? But Atlanta, thank you. It looks like we're going to be able to pick up some good cops out of your screw-ups over there. Appreciate it. Yeah. I know the ones that got hired in this county, they had them in the newspaper with their commendations, and their record was spotless and, good cops. Appreciate it. You lost a couple good ones right there. We'll take care of them. Don't worry about that. We'll respect them, and we'll make sure that as long as they do their job and don't break any laws, they're not going to have problems with us. I did read in the paper today. I love local papers because you get all the dirt. And one story was hilarious. About 3 counties over from here. I'd said that I know in Murfreesboro, the TBI was down there taking pictures of all these rioters and stuff that showed up. There wasn't that many of them, and they never got to riot, so it wasn't a big deal. But when they did that arson work down there on the old courthouse, and they got pictures of the people who were involved in it. And I guess it tracked them down and yada, yada, yada. This carload of protesters that apparently was busting out windows and stuff in the old courthouse. Anyway, they cocked it about 3 counties over. This kid was driving his mommy and daddy's, I don't know whether it was a Cadillac Escalade or something. I saw a picture of it. I wasn't paying good. It was a nice SUV, brand new. Nice SUV. Tinted windows, cool. Yeah. When they put it up for auction, I'm going to go down, maybe put in a bid on it. One of the fools that they had in the car had meth on him. Here in this state, you get caught transporting meth, that vehicle no longer belongs to you. It now belongs to whatever county or jurisdiction or whatever grabbed you. Okay? So, yeah, mom and dad came to get the kid out of jail and asked where the vehicle was stored at, and they told him it's in police impound, but it's not yours anymore. It's been confiscated and told them go away. So it looks like the county's going to get to pick themselves up. It looks like probably a $50,000 or $60,000 vehicle, so I guess they'll do all right with that one. They'll hire a few of the Atlanta cops, a little extra to their budget. But the state has picked up. They did, when the governor took over down there in Nashville and said, that's enough, we're going to stop this stuff, and brought it to a close, they arrested 30 that night. And I think the paper was saying it was like 20 that have been picked up since. Because the TBI was taking pictures and running facial recognitions, and they're issuing warrants and so forth on them. So, good job, Governor Lee. Yeah. Good man. Good man. Now, looking at some of this other nonsense, I was kind of laughing at Tim Pool because he's about the only one I saw this morning because I've been too busy to look at anything out online, and he's a little worried about Civil War. Right? Yeah, at first he was kind of like putting it off. He's going, but it's not looking real good. I know there's people getting ready for it, and there's becoming a real strong sentiment down here about people coming out of those cities into this area. I mean, they had a strong opinion before. Now it's really bubbling to the surface. Just stay home. We don't want you. And they're doing things to try to make sure they don't come here. Right down to telling people who are trying to sell their houses and stuff, you sell them to these people, we'll burn them back down. You ain't gonna get nothing but an insurance claim. Don't do it. Yeah. So the lines are getting kind of drawn. Okay. If you folks are wanting to get out of those cities before that happens, you better get to moving. Because it could be on the horizon. Now, let me tell you what I'm seeing with this whole mess. This whole thing is political, folks. It's political. The Democrats are pushing this stuff hard. You notice the riots have all started back up again and so forth. And that is primarily due to they want to get this mail-in voting thing. Because that does allow a lot of fraud, okay? Yeah, ballot harvesting is one of the Democrats' favorite ways of swaying elections. And they have been caught numerous times doing it. 2016, up in Detroit, okay? Several precincts got their ballots tossed in the trash because of it. Which is bad because the people who voted legitimately just lost their votes, okay? So it's not a good thing. But it was so hosed up that if you'll look at the stuff from back then, the governor ordered it trashed. There was no way to tell what was legit and what wasn't. I do know that happens a lot of times in the St. Louis area. I know it happens up in Chicago. any Democratic stronghold, it seems to be an issue. Las Vegas is terrible for it, or used to be. I don't know if they've cleaned it up or not. You know, virtually nobody in this country can function anymore without a form of ID of some sort. If you're a welfare recipient, you've got ID. So that takes it down to pretty much just about anybody should have some form of ID. No reason for it, you know. And if you're too lazy to go down and get a free ID out of the state, and, you know, so that you can vote, then you don't need to be voting because you're too kind of lazy anyway. All right? If you want to vote, get an ID. Vote. That's the only way they're going to stop that kind of stuff. And this mail-in stuff is nonsense. But with all these riots going on, and they're pushing the COVID thing, that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to get a mail-in ballot thing totally accepted as a way for people to vote. They do that, it's going to hit the fan. The next thing that they're starting to try to push for is to get rid of the Electoral College. I can guarantee you they get rid of the Electoral College, okay, they got their war. They got it. Because then you're taking all the rural states and taking away their voice in the federal government as far as president goes. It's gone. Unless we go in there and take care of a whole bunch of city dwellers, okay? It's an option. If they're suddenly the big mass minority, popular vote wins, go away. But you have to understand what the founding fathers said. That is what they call a democracy. Okay, I used to laugh when you see these protesters walking down the street after Trump got elected, screaming, "This is what democracy looks like." And they were right. Truly, they are. That is what is wrong with a democracy. Okay, we are not a democracy. Our founding fathers didn't design a democracy. Okay, we're a democratic, constitutional republic. Different animal, okay? Because the founding fathers referred to a democracy as mob rule. The minority in the country just lost their voice. And today, it's not based on the color of your skin, it's more based on where you live, okay? It's craziness. You know, it's like, you can't do that. They're wanting to. And I can almost guarantee you, if they lose this election, they're going to push real hard for it. But they've spun up the violence again. They're trying to get Trump to do something crazy, like commit troops. And they'll use that to beat him across the head. If I was him, I'd take more of a stance. I got to give advice to the president, right? But if I was him, I would take a stand back. Keep offering them. We can send you the National Guard. We can put troops in there if you want. But make them ask for it. Because if they don't ask, they're going to use it against you. But that's what the game they're going to try to play. So the man's in a situation is, you know, if he stands up and puts his foot down on this stuff, they're really going to come hard on him. Okay? Here we go, martial law, he wants to be a dictator, yada, yada, yada. These democratic, these urban areas and these democratic cities and so forth, they don't understand how fragile their system is. Just a case in point, from a strategic viewpoint of the whole thing. If you pretty much surrounded the outside of a city, okay, and did some foolish little things like just take out their electric grid. Now, you can take out a lot of it just by, you know, blowing down a few power towers, the high voltage, the big towers would do a lot of damage, overload their circuits and yada, yada, yada. They take care of themselves, okay? Because anytime they've had, any major city has had a long period of more than a few days of no power, because number one, they have to depend on city water. Power goes, water goes. So they have no water, no food, truckers stay out, and it hits the fan. They'll reduce their own population by 50% within the first 2 weeks. So militarily, they're just not in a good spot. Just not. So I'm telling you, if you got the hair raised up on the back of your neck about these cities, you might start looking for other options. Yeah, it may mean changing jobs. Okay, if your employer doesn't have something where you can work remote or whatever. But you're living in the city, if all heck breaks loose, it's indefensible. You're stuck. And your neighbors are going to be the ones coming for you. Okay? It sounds terrible, but that's the way it's going to be. Every city that's went through a long-term power outage, where it's down for more than a couple of days, that's what ends up happening. 3 days, the city's out of food. If the city's going nuts, the trucks are not coming in, period. They're not going to do it. I've talked with a few drivers who don't want to go back in them at all now. Are telling, they're independent drivers, so they're telling the companies at least to, no, not doing it. So all these things compiled, but hopefully it never comes to a civil war. We need to make some major changes in what is going on in this country. We do need to get our constitutional rights back. All right, as people, we need them back. And I want to see a bunch of comments. We got our constitutional rights. You got what they convince you got. Ultimately, they will suspend your constitutional rights in a heartbeat at their will. And that's not the way the Constitution works, folks. It's you, your states, then the federal government. And we've got that all been turned around since the Civil War. You need to get turned back around. Okay? Because it's not right. And the governments came into too much power. And we need to take that power back away. So that's one thing. This here, if you look, is going to be political. It is the Democrats, which this tells you these guys couldn't be more lockstep than, the Communist Party is. They are just all of them are marching at the same beat. I don't care what they tell you during an election. When they get in, they do whatever the party tells them to do. Yeah. Ignore what they have to tell you, because they're going to lie to you. They want your vote until they don't need it anymore. And then you're just going to do what they say. Much like these blue states right now telling everybody, oh, you can't go anywhere. I'm telling you now, I have seen these numbers, okay, and I don't buy these death rates that suddenly jump by 30,000 and now again another 20,000. I'll buy it. And then they tell on themselves and they say, oh, we're down to under 500 people a week. Okay. Then where are you getting all these other high numbers from? It's BS. Don't know why they're playing that game, but it's BS. Other than the fact that we had a super duper economy, it would look like that, Donald Trump could have went fishing through the election and been reelected. He sure brought that to a close, didn't they? So I'm not quite too sure about all that. When you think about it, what party was it that brought us, most favored nation to the Chinese? It was Bill and Hillary Clinton. Yeah, through the Clinton Foundation. Democrats. Big business is heavily Democrat. Okay? Check credentials. Democrats. They don't want to leave China because right now they're making a lot of money. Of course, China's stealing their intellectual property, but they don't care as long as they keep making money. Understand? That's the Democratic Party. I'm sorry. And if a Democrat wants to make me out to be a liar, go for it. I'd like to see it. You know, nobody wanted China in as most favored nation. They're horrible. Their civil rights and so forth is horrible. But they are. Courtesy of the Democratic Party. This whole thing, where did COVID-19 come from? China. Who was sending their people out, even though they knew they had this pandemic in their country? Who was giving them visas to go travel all over the world? China. Who was sending out defective test kits? China. Who was hoarding safety equipment that they no longer needed, but they weren't going to turn it loose? China. They're not our friends. Okay? Matter of fact, they're looking to go to war with us. Understand that. Which should wake the Democrats up to something. You don't want this nation going to war with the superpower like that. Because that'd be a golden opportunity for the people of this country to come for you. And you won't be here when the war's over. You'll have no more power. This needs to stop. When it starts flowing out of the cities, we're seeing that, I'm going to say out of the cities. We have some big cities in the South. We have big cities in the Midwest. They're going to be fairly easy to control. Get some law and order in there. But it's your blue states and your blue cities that are causing all these problems. Don't think the rest of America is blind to that. And this is political. But we're paying the price for this. And you are not our elites. Okay? Donald Trump isn't our elites. We're supposed to be your boss. And you're going to keep pushing it. And you're going to find out how fast that can really happen. Okay? Democratic Party's trying to turn this country upside down. And if you Democrats let them get away with it, you're as guilty as they are. Understand it. If you're not comfortable with what's going on in these states, get out. Walk away. It's going to get nasty. And I'm afraid it's going to get nasty pretty soon. All the indicators are there. Probably going to be doing some editing on this, but maybe not. Maybe it's something you all need to hear. I'm getting this from a lot of different places. Democrats need to come out of power. That's all. And when I'm talking out of power, I'm talking like the Whigs back when the Republicans came in. Out of power, gone. No longer exist. That's where we need to put the Democratic Party. In the annals of history. Oh wait, no, we're destroying our history. That means nobody will remember even who they were. Anyway, this went long. Love you guys, appreciate you. I'm getting off here. This is not good. It really isn't. So let's try to use our heads for something besides the hat rack. Y'all take care. Have a great week.